In this video, I will show you how to create the ultimate appointment booking automation for AI voice agents. This automation will enable bookings, canceling, rescheduling, and checking calendar availability. This will work directly via webhook so that you can connect this to Vapi, Retell, Bland, Synthflow, you name it. This automation has been stress tested among many of our clients and is incredibly reliable. It has been built from the ground up to work with voice agents, providing webhook responses with formatted text and relevant alternative times that the voice agent will read fluently. This automation is designed to be easy to understand with clear notes guiding you through the process, allowing for easy adjustments such as time zones. I've made it so that anyone can take this and implement it. My name is Brendan and I've been creating AI agents for businesses for almost 2 years at my agency, Inflate AI. We've built AI voice agents across several different industries and I've learned a lot about what works and what doesn't. If you want access to this template for completely free, you can do so by joining my school community, which is linked in the description. We've got a masterclass for Vapi, Retell, and VoiceFlow, in addition to 40 plus AI agent templates. So please come join our vibrant community. We've got over 9,000 AI enthusiasts who can answer any of your questions. I'd also appreciate it if you'd subscribe to the channel and leave a comment below. These templates are easily worth thousands of dollars alone, and I'm giving them away for completely free. So jumping right into it, this is the make.com template that I'm going to be doing a complete walkthrough of. This specific template is going to allow us to book appointments, cancel appointments, and reschedule them. And then alongside this template, we've also got a secondary make.com scenario that we're going to use specifically for checking availability of our calendar. And I've split both of these into 2 separate automations for a very specific reason for building voice agents, which I'll cover later in the video. But before we get started, I do want to give you a demo of the system in action. So jumping over to Retell AI, this is where I'm going to be running some of the tests in. But like I said earlier, you can connect this to any platform that you're currently using, whether that's Vapi, Synthflow, Bland. All we're doing is just using this to send information off to make.com. It's got nothing to do with any platform specifically, so you can integrate this into any platform you'd like. So this right here is my Google Calendar. I've blurred out all of my meetings and events, but I'm going to be booking all of the appointments into this calendar. And one of the main connections that we are going to be using in this specific template is cal.com. So cal.com is an appointment booking system. Essentially, we're just going to be creating events in cal.com, and cal.com connects to Google Calendar. So you will need a cal.com account to get this system set up. It's very simple to do. You can do a lot with their free version as well. You'll usually never even need their paid version. I'm using the free version for this, and I've connected my Google Calendar account to cal.com, and that's all we've needed to do, and we can create a really smooth booking process. So I've got an availability for 12 p.m. on Thursday. So let's see if we can use this booking template to book in an appointment for 12 o'clock on Thursday. So hi, I'd like to book an appointment for 12 p.m. on Thursday. So we'll send that through. So I've sent that through. I'm just using the text chat feature of Retell. So this is just allowing us to test it a little bit quicker, although this is obviously still a voice agent that we can speak to as well. So it said here, thanks for that. Can I grab your name and email address to lock in the appointment? So because we are doing cancellations and because we are doing rescheduling as well, we do actually require an email. So we require the email to specifically identify the appointments that somebody is going to be wanting to cancel or reschedule. So we do need to provide an email address to do that. So I've done that. It's just come back and just wanted to confirm our email address and confirm the exact time that we're looking to book for. This is just some prompting that we've done on the back end right here in this prompt. And if you want to get access to this prompt, you can do so. It'll be in my school community. You can get access to all the templates, the prompts, everything, and all the resources in this video will be linked in the description. So to this, I'll just say yes, and hopefully that will go ahead and book an appointment for the specific time that we were looking for. And then we have it. So it's gone ahead. It said book appointment. We can see here, just might have to highlight this, the dark mode here isn't working too well. Pretty much, there you go. 12 p.m. on Thursday is when we requested to book for on Retell. It has then been sent off to our automation and we have been able to book the appointment. If I head over to my calendar once again, you can see there is now a brand new event that's just been created. A 30-minute meeting between Brendan Jout and Brendan. Obviously, I just booked in with myself, and there you go. It booked in for 12 o'clock, and that's exactly what we were looking to do. So that's worked great, but now I'm going to demo the real good stuff, which is canceling and rescheduling. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to completely refresh this conversation, so we're not, using any of the context from the past conversation. And now what I'm going to do, head back to my calendar. I'm going to reschedule it for later in the day. Somebody, something comes up, I'm not available. Somebody wants to call back and reschedule their appointment. This is going to be able to handle that. So at the moment, we're booked in for 12 p.m. And if we wanted to book in for 3 p.m., which I've got some availability for, we can reschedule it. So come back here. I can very simply say, hi, I've got an appointment for 12 p.m. on Thursday. I would like to reschedule for 4 p.m. on Thursday. We'll send that through. It should still ask to confirm the name and email once again. So that is still critical to do the rescheduling, to do the canceling. It needs to have that information. We'll send that through and we'll see if we can get it moved from 12 p.m. down to 4 p.m. on the calendar. So we can see here, the book appointment reschedule has gone through. So we can see here in our request, we've got a booking time and we've got a reschedule time in this instance. So it's recognized that. Coming back to our calendar, you can see it is now moved from 12 p.m. all the way down to 4 p.m. here as well. So it's simply just rescheduled it exactly as we would have expected it to do so that we've booked it, we've now rescheduled it. And now let's say for whatever reason, we no longer need the appointment. We want to cancel it, don't want to have that appointment anymore. Come back to Retell, we'll reset the conversation. So still no context coming through. So it's a brand new conversation. And I can simply just say, hi, I'd like to cancel my 4 p.m. appointment on Thursday. Once again, it should ask for the name and email, provide the information for the name, and I've accidentally sent that through. You can see there, it's actually really good at making sure we've got all the information. It's got my name, and then we'll send the email as well. And that should process through. So hopefully that will recognize the appointment and cancel it. So there you go. Your appointment is officially canceled. So we'll come back to the appointment here. It's no longer on my calendar. It's gone completely. And we can see the book appointment function, in this case, read through a cancel time. I'm not sure why the dark mode is so terrible in this, but 4 p.m. on Thursday, it's now canceled. So there you go. We've been able to book an appointment, reschedule an appointment, and cancel the appointment as well. So now before I dive into exactly how this automation works and how you can take it and use it for your own projects, I'm just going to walk you through the checking availability as well. So this is another aspect of this automation that works really great. Essentially, what we can do is essentially ask for any available times, and it just checks the calendar. It doesn't book anything, doesn't change anything. It just checks availability. So coming back to my calendar, I can have a look and see, some of the available times that I have on Friday. So I've got a few meetings booked in, but maybe we want to book in for 12 p.m. I have a meeting at 12 p.m. So let's ask to see if we can book for 12 p.m. and just see what it tells us. So, hi, I'd like to know if you are available at 12 p.m. We'll send that through and it should tell us that we're not available. So confirmation message there. What day you're looking to book. So you can see there, it's actually wanting to once again get the day. We didn't actually provide the day. So that is on Friday, 12 p.m. Friday, it's going to do the check. And then we have it. It says there, bummer, Friday at 12 p.m. isn't available. And it's also going ahead, not just checked if it's available, not just checked if it is available. It's providing us some alternative times and it's done it in a really good way. And so what I mean by that, you just said, but we've got some other options, 11:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m., or 1:30 p.m. And so these are some available times. I've come back to my calendar. 11:30 is a time that is 100% available. 12:30, that's available. And 1:30, that is also available. So perfect. They have all three times that are available. And this is really critical. So typically, we don't want to send through a giant time that says, here's every 100 different times that are available in the day. We've restricted the automation just to provide 3 times that are around the same time that are available. It's not 3 times that are after 12 p.m. It's 3 times that are around 12 p.m. And that's really critical when we're recommending times that people can book for. So we've asked for 12 p.m. It's provided us a time that's 30 minutes beforehand. And it's also provided some times that are, an hour later, 30 minutes later as well. So it's a really good system that allows us to provide some really solid times and actually read it out to the user in a really easy to understand way. And then from this, we can just ask to book an appointment. So 11:30 a.m. sounds great. We'll send that through. It should, retain the context for everything. So now it knows it's Friday. Give it my name, my email, and hopefully we can book an appointment for that time. And then we have it. So perfect. Just booked it in, book appointment function, read through perfectly, knew exactly what I wanted and booked it in. Heading over to the calendar, we are now booked in for Friday at 11:30 a.m. And so hopefully you can now see the dynamic of having, the single automation for bookings and canceling and rescheduling. And then we've got the check availability function as well. They sort of all work in tandem to create a really smooth booking process. So to jump into the real source, I'm going to walk you through this entire automation that does the bookings, rescheduling, and canceling, show you everything about it, how it works, and how you can get it set up for yourself. And if you do also want to get access to this template, once again, I'm going to have it available for completely free within my school community, which is linked in the description. And that also includes the check availability template, which you can also get access to for completely free within the description. So I'll get started by walking through exactly how the check availability availability template works. This is a little bit more simple than the booking appointments template, and I'll just walk you through exactly how this works, as well as how it connects to our voice agent on Retell. Now you can do the exact same thing on any other platform. This system can be plugged into any platform simply by a webhook. Super simple to get up and running. So first things first, for checking availability here, what we are using is a webhook. Like I've said, all we're doing is sending information off to a webhook. If you've never done a webhook before, essentially we're just sending information off to sort of like a web address, and that's coming from our platform. So we're using Retell here. If we are going to be doing a check availability, this is what we've got currently set up to check the availability. So we've created a custom function. You can do the exact same thing in Vapi for checking availability. You just create your own function for it. And then we've added in the URL here to send information off to this automation. Now there's a few bits of information that we are sending off if we are going to be checking the availability for the appointment and the calendar. So within Retell here, we've added in an object called booking time. So this is very simply an AI grabbed value of exactly when the user would like to book. So given that we're checking availability, we need to understand, the time that they're actually looking to check for. And so we can do that by creating a variable called booking time. You can name it whatever you'd like, although it is currently programmed with the variable of booking time. Within Retell, I've said this is when the user wants to book. For example, tomorrow at 2 p.m., today at 1 p.m., next Monday at 5 p.m. And what I've added in here are just a series of examples of exactly how somebody might say the time. I've said not to format the time and just to keep it how the user said it, because the automation will actually handle formatting the time and using it the way that the system needs to use it. So don't need to worry about formatting anything. Just send the time that the user has stated, and that is it. All you need to do, it's even more simple to do on Vapi. You can essentially map out, your variable, just type booking time and type the description, and that is literally it. That's all you need to do. Once that's done, you can just create that function. So let's give that a really quick test. If I just hit run once, we can actually start to populate some of the values to show you visually exactly how it works. Coming back to Retell, I'll initiate a new conversation, and I'm very simply just going to ask it, hi, are you available on Friday at 4 p.m. I might be, I might not be, I can't remember. So we'll just send that through and check. And so it's just come back and said 4 p.m. is already booked. Jumping into the automation, everything's now populated. So if we have a look at our webhook, you'll see that we've got a check availability name that's coming through. Booking time Friday at 4 p.m. that's come through in just natural language. The second step that we have here is for just assigning it to a variable. So we've just got a tool that sets it to the variable here. The variable name is time. For some reason, there was a bit of a spelling mistake here. So it just says Thai. Anyways, it's only used once. So we're just setting it as a variable there. The next step is really important. And this has got quite a significant prompt for formatting the date and time that we've sent through. So we're saying that we want to book for Friday at 4 p.m. We can't really do much with that in terms of actually checking, cal.com if the time is available or it isn't available. And so what we're able to do is format this using AI and using a prompt to get the time that we're looking for. So we're obviously using the OpenAI completions module here on make.com to do this. Very simply, all it's doing is processing it through an AI request. So your task is to take the customer's requested appointment time and accurately convert the date and time, using the current time. So this needs to look at, what's the current time, what's the time they'd like to book for, and then, put everything together. So if we want to say that we want to book for Friday at 4 p.m., there is obviously a bit of context that needs to come through to understand the exact date and time that actually is. So we need to understand, what's today's date, when is Friday, what date will Friday be, and that's all going to be able to get figured out using this AI step. And then another really critical part of this prompt is going to be the time zone. So if you have, I'm sure you're in a different time zone. I'm currently in Melbourne, Australia. So my time zone is +11, to the standard time. So we've added in Australia, Melbourne +11, and that's going to be able to get the AI to actually understand that and then process that and give an accurate time. And so if you're going to be using this template, definitely you will need to swap out the time zone with your specific time zone, but otherwise the prompt can stay the same. And we've just added in some conditioning here to say, you must output this in an exact format that we want. So don't really change anything else and you should be good to go. The next module, we're just setting a variable for the date that we just created. So we're just going and taking the converted date, setting it to a variable name called input. Then we're going on to a next step to format the date once again. So we're taking that input that we took, we're formatting that in a different format, calling that date time variable. And then what we're doing is we're making a request to get available slots from our calendar. So what we're using is, this is our first connection to cal.com. So if I click into this, we are sending a HTTP request to Calendar.com to get a series of available slots from our calendar. So all that you need to do in this aspect here is just go to Calendar.com to sign up for an account. You will need obviously a Calendar.com account to do this. And very simply, like I said, you can just sign up for the free version. You don't need their paid version for this. You can do quite a lot with their free version. Once you've signed up for an account, it'll likely create a series of events for you. And so these events are what we're going to be using to actually call upon to book an appointment. So if we're going to be booking a 30-minute meeting, we are going to have to use an event type to actually book in that 30-minute meeting, actually save all of those settings that we want to use. So very simply, once you've signed up for an account, just go down to the settings button at the bottom. You will need to hop over to the API keys section, click on add, and you're just going to be creating an API key. So you can give it a name. You can just call this the YouTube demo. Set it to never expire, obviously. We can go down to the never expires, hit save, and then we'll get a cal.com key. Coming back to our make.com template, we can very easily just add our API key into the box here on the slot, add in the API key. That's now going to be connected to your account. And the only other thing that you're going to have to change is go to the event type ID, and you can just swap your ID for your event type. So like I said, if I come back to my cal.com account, what we have is a series of events, and we want to book specifically for a particular event that we have. So if I click on the 30-minute meeting, what you'll see at the top here in this URL, 8377, or you might not be able to see this because it's not showing the URL, but in the URL, you will actually see an event ID. And so mine's 837575. If I come back to here, I've added in the event type ID, and that's just communicating directly with that. Time zone, Australia, Sydney. I am in Melbourne, but Sydney's the same time zone. So I'm just using that as well here. And that's it. That's all you need to do. Everything else is done for you. The next module is just getting the first date. So we're just setting a variable get date. It's using some data from the previous slot to set a variable. That's just then going to get used again here, getting some data slots, getting some dates. Ultimately, all this is doing is just getting a series of time slots that we're going to be using later in the automation from here. We're then going to use an iterator to iterate through each of those time slots. And so we can come into here and we're just doing some more formatting, iterating through each of the time slots that are available and what's not available through here. And now the next step is also really critical. So what we're going to be doing is getting the busy hours. So if we come back here, we just got all of the available slots, and now we're getting all of the busy slots. And so we're getting all of the times that we aren't available and pretty much comparing the two together. So we're going to do pretty much the exact same thing. Calling upon the cal.com API, you will need to change some of the values up here in this address to fit your specific IDs. Once again, you can just change this here to your cal.com API key. This is slightly formatted differently. This is using the V2 APIs to do so on cal.com, but you can just swap this over to your API key. That's actually all you need to do. You will need to update your IDs up here as well with your event type, but otherwise that's good to go. Once that's done, we're now going to be able to take that information and then begin to iterate through it once again. The iterator is simply just going through all of the bundles of available times, not available times, the busy slots here. And then finally, coming to the main part of this automation that really sticks everything together is an OpenAI step that is essentially taking all of the times that were not available, comparing the two together to then actually understand when can we actually book for. And so once again, I won't read through this entire prompt. It's pretty extensive, but you shouldn't have to change really any of this if you don't need to. And all this is doing is just saying, here are all of the available slots that I'm available to be booked in for. And here's all of the times that I'm actually booked out for. You're not allowed to book in for. And that's just giving it a really good amount of context to be able to recommend some proper times. In addition to that, we're obviously adding in the requested time slot. So when the user would actually like to book for, and making sure that's formatted as well. And so just setting that in, alongside the available slots and busy slots. And then from this, we're going to get an output that is, really nice. And so the requested time seems to be unavailable. However, there are some available time slots here as well. And so that's just sent it through everything that is available to be booked for. And if I come back to Retell, you can see here, this is exactly what it read out as. How about 2:30, 3:30, or 4:30 p.m. instead? So you can see we did still do some formatting for the prompt on this side with this prompt here. For the most part, that went through very well, and that does exactly what we needed to. So to give this automation a summary, all you need to change is your API keys for cal.com, and then just changing your time zone as well. And this automation will work perfectly fine. So now jumping into the main automation that you've been waiting for. So this is going to allow us to handle bookings, canceling, and rescheduling all in one automation here on make.com. So right out the gate, I've already got a test case that has already been sent through the system. So coming to the first webhook, once again, very similar to how this is working for the check availability. Just reset the chat here, book appointment, head into the function. So what we're going to be doing is doing a custom function to send off all of the information for when they like to book for, and then just handling everything on the make.com automation. So this you can plug into Vapi, you can plug into Synthflow. Once again, it's the exact same process to do that. So book appointment, when the user would like to book an appointment, sending that to our make.com webhook. And then we've got some values that we do need to capture. So One of the first values will be a name. So the name of the user, very simply, this is just who's going to be booking the appointment. That's all it needs to be. We've got a booking type. And so this is pretty critical for this automation. If they would like to, if this is a new booking, rescheduling, or a cancellation. So we've added in a bit of conditioning here to make sure that we know exactly what they're looking to do. If they want to book an appointment, reschedule one or cancel one, that will be captured there. Booking time, this is exactly the same as the one for checking availability. Just make sure we know exactly when they like to book for. Capturing their email. So this is the next part of it. Email, this is the email address the user provided for the booking. Super critical. We definitely need to capture that. And then what we have below this are some non-required fields. So we do have a separate value for the reschedule time as well as the cancel time. So this is the time of the appointment the user would like to reschedule. This is the time of the appointment the user would like to cancel. So using the power of AI, we don't have to do anything specifically on our end to determine what is rescheduling or canceling other than doing some prompting. Pretty much we can just give it these two values and the AI is just going to figure out, okay, this is the new time they want to book for. This is the time they want to reschedule for. This is the time that they want to cancel. It is going to do that all for us. So we don't have to handle that. Luckily, it is now smart enough to do that. So that's how we've currently prompted it. Now, very critically, we do have some required fields. So once again, you can do this on any other platform, but we've just set the required field for booking time, name, booking type, and email. So these are the only fields we really need to process a request. Obviously, not every request is going to be rescheduling. Not every request is going to be canceling. So we don't need to have both of those values in the required field at all times. So this is everything that's required for making an appointment booking. So jumping into the first request that we've made here, got our webhook and we've got some arguments that have come through. So my name is Brendan. The booking type is a new booking. The booking time is Thursday at 8:30 a.m. My email is brendan@flate.agency. So that's going to come through, and very similar to the checking availability, we're going to format the time. So if we look here, we are now formatting the time exactly the same as we have before, making sure that it's formatted for making the appointment. The next step here has just been used for debugging. You don't actually have to worry about this one. I've just been using this for debugging. Pretty much you can skip this part of it. It is used a little bit in the automation, but otherwise that is not too big of a deal. From here, we've got a router. So it's going to go down a different path based on if we're canceling, rescheduling, booking, it's going to go down a different path. And so very simply, we've got a path here that says if the booking type is equal to new booking, which it is, it's going to go down this path. Then we're hitting a tool function, which is just grabbing some values. So this is the same as the debugging tool that I have here. All we're doing is just assigning our name to a variable, email to a variable, as well as the date and time. And then we're just adding some more values as well. If we wanted to, I haven't got anything in there at the moment, but you can expand upon this if you want to. From that, it's just going to book an appointment. So very simple, it just books the appointment in. It's using the cal.com endpoint to book an appointment. Make sure you got your API key in there. And then we're just scrolling down a bit and we're adding in a request content. So once again, if you're going to be modifying this, you can change the time zone to your time zone. You can change the event type to your event type, but otherwise this will work perfectly. And then once the appointment's been booked, you can either go down two different paths for a webhook response. So if it does fail, it will go down this path here and just say the booking process has failed due to some technical reasons. All the time chosen is not available. Please run the check availability function for this new booking time to get access to available booking times. This is pretty critical. So what I've actually done is added in some prompting to get sent to the voice agent to run the check availability function. So for whatever reason, we've tried to book an appointment and the time wasn't available. In the case that your prompt failed to check availability beforehand, we've actually got a backup here. So this will pretty much just run the function again through the webhook response telling it to do so. But otherwise, if that all goes well, it will just say the appointment's been booked. So we can very simply just send that information back to Retell just by typing in the body here. So for the most part, booking appointments is actually really simple. Once we've formatted the time properly and we can actually book for that time, it's just one simple request to do that. So now moving on to cancellations. So we've actually got two different flows for people requesting to do a cancellation. And the reason that we've got two different flows for these cancellations is that there's a few different variables that are involved if somebody would like to cancel one of their appointments. So we've really built this out to handle quite a few different edge cases. And so in the instance that somebody actually has booked multiple appointments, there is going to be some information that needs to be exchanged in order to understand which appointment they want to cancel. So if somebody's booked in 3 appointments, and they simply just say, hey, I'd like to cancel my appointment on Thursday, the automation has to sort of do a bit of working to understand exactly what they're talking about and actually get a bit more context, talk back to the user, and then cancel the right appointment. So just looking at the first automation that we have here, these two workflows that you can see are both cancellation flows. So the first one is essentially looking here on this router that the booking type is equal to cancellation. So that's exactly how we formatted it to, and that the cancel time that somebody's requested, if it doesn't exist. So it's possible that you can ask to cancel the appointment and the automation might not provide a cancel time. And so if that is the case, it's going to go down this flow. This flow is going to set some variables, name, email, date, and time. It's then going to move on to make a request to find some of the bookings. So we've sent through the name, the email. We know exactly who we're looking at. And we need to look at some of the bookings. So we need to understand, okay, what bookings does this person actually have? From this router, it's either going to be one booking, and that's very simple. They've got one booking, we'll just cancel that one. But if it is greater than one booking, there's going to be multiple, and we need to actually communicate that to them. So if it's just one, we'll go through, iterate through that, and just get the ID for that event. And then we're very simply just going to cancel that exact event that they're looking to cancel, and it will either work or it won't work. And so we can just process that. Otherwise, if they've got multiple events, we're essentially going to tell them that there seems to be multiple upcoming slots that are booked. And then what we're going to do is also provide them with all of those bookings. So there seems to be multiple appointments coming up. Which of these do you actually want to cancel? And so if they do that, they provide the exact booking time that they want to cancel. It is now going to go through a different flow. And so this is going to be the flow where it's a cancellation, but the cancel time does exist. So they've actually given us a time that they want to cancel for. Very simply, it's essentially the same thing, but we're just doing this flow here. We're just canceling the appointment right out the gate. So using the ChatGPT step to format the date and time, moving on to this step here to set some variables, making the request to find all of the bookings to make sure that we get the exact ID for what they're looking to cancel for. We'll then make sure that we've got that ID, and then we'll just cancel the appointment. So cancel that appointment they're looking to book for, and that's done. So very simple, but we do just have two different flows to handle that. So this is a way that you can get a bit more conditioning, get a bit more, edge cases handled. If somebody books 2 appointments, you will need to do this in order to handle that properly and not have the voice agent freak out and break as it's going along. And now lastly, we've got rescheduling. So very similar to canceling the appointments, we've got 2 flows for rescheduling. And this is because once again, if somebody asks to reschedule an appointment, they don't provide the exact time they want to reschedule for, we need a flow for that. And if they say that they would like to reschedule, although there are multiple appointments that can be rescheduled, we need to be able to handle that in a way that works really well. And so you might be thinking that you could just prompt this in and just say, hey, can you give us the exact time? Although this is more of a human error, use a fallback system. So it's very possible that somebody says, I can't remember where it actually booked for. I booked, several months in advance. I can't remember exactly what time that was. And so we need to be able to, have the system provide that information. And so the first flow in the system here is once again, setting some variables, the name, the email, the date and time and everything, making a request to look at a lot of the bookings that we've currently got. So very similar to the cancellation flow. It's then going to check, is there one appointment or is there, more than one appointment? If there's more than one appointment, it's then going to iterate through this and actually just say, look, there's multiple appointments that can be rescheduled. We need to pick a specific time to reschedule. So very simple. Otherwise, if it is just one, it's going to go through, try to reschedule it, and it's just going to tell them, congrats, it's been rescheduled. Otherwise, we've got some error handling. The rescheduling process has failed, and otherwise that'll go through and work exactly as it should. Otherwise, it will reschedule perfectly. And then lastly, we've got the top automation here, which is taking in formatting the time properly, setting some variables, checking cal.com to see all of the available appointments that can be rescheduled, iterating through them to find the right one. So in the case of this specific flow here, we've got a booking time, a booking type, and we've got a reschedule time. So we aren't, wondering exactly what time they want to book for. So we're just going to reschedule it. And then we're going to, do that perfectly. So that's just going to run through. We've also got an additional condition here. If for whatever reason that time couldn't be found, we'll just let them know. And then they can just converse back and forth with it and go through and maybe use the second flow as well. So there you have it. That is the complete ultimate appointment booking template that can book appointments, cancel them, reschedule them. It even handles if you've got multiple appointment bookings, and it handles it all really well and sends back, these messages and these webhook responses that work really well with voice agents. So once again, if you want to get access to this appointment booking template, you want to get access to this checking availability template, and you want to get access to this entire Retell prompt that I've just been using to play around with and do the bookings on, I'm going to have everything available within my school community linked in the description for completely free. If you have found this video helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe to the channel and leave a comment below. It really helps out a lot. If you comment on the video, it boosts it up in the algorithm and it just helps me out a lot. So I'd really appreciate it if you could do that. And if you're interested in learning more about these AI voice agents, definitely check out this video right here where I built a $10,000 AI voice agent for a home services company.